Hey there, I'm Jill Allen, and this is Find Your Fierce, the show designed to help you discover your inner strength and unlock an unstoppable mindset that will completely transform how you show up every day. Each week, I will share methods and strategies to inspire you to step into your greatness and live life with purpose. Join me on this journey to becoming fit, fierce, and unstoppable. Hey there, and welcome to Find Your Fierce, the podcast where we show up daily and surround ourselves with people who lift us higher. I'm Jill Allen, your host, certified strength and conditioning specialist and fitness and mindset coach. And if you've ever felt like food is confusing, your hormones are all over the place, or your mood's on a blood sugar roller coaster, trust me, you are not alone. This is Fuel Her Fire, a special series designed to help women break up with diet culture, ditch their restrictive rules, and embrace a real sustainable wellness journey. We're going to be talking about intuitive eating, hormone balance, gut health, strength training, all the things that help you fuel your fire from the inside out. And each week I'm super excited about this because I get real about wellness, mindset, and how to actually feel your best. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button because we're reclaiming our energy, the mood, and metabolism one episode at a time. And hey, before we dive in, I've got something to share that's changing lives, including mine. If you're struggling with energy, focus, gut health, inflammation, or cravings, I've partnered with an incredible wellness line, and I'm honestly obsessed. These products work. People are winning with their health, and it's not just that, it's opening the door to an income opportunity that can truly change your life. Guys, the Pivot Challenge is where it all begins. I've seen women not only transform their bodies and energy, but also build something meaningful and rewarding. So if that sounds like something that you're looking for in your life, message me and let's team up and get you plugged in. So now let's get into today's topic, because I know this is something so many of us deal with: how to stop thinking about food all the time. Guys, we're going to dig into why restriction leads to obsession and how mindful eating can help you finally create a healthier, more balanced relationship with food, all while reducing inflammation in our bodies. So let's dive in. Okay, so quick gut check. How many of you have gone on a restrictive diet before? I know I have. Cutting carbs, counting every single calorie, doing this crazy detox to try to reset things. Guys, I've been there. And here's the problem. The more we restrict, the more we obsess. It's not just willpower, guys. It's literally how our brains are wired. When we tell ourselves, think about this, when we tell ourselves we can't have something, it starts taking up way more mental space. Guys, we're not just craving it. Guys, we're thinking about it constantly. It starts to dominate our thoughts. And there's a biological reason for that. And here's why. When we restrict food, when we restrict our intake, especially the carbs or maybe a protein or fat, guys, our body senses a shortage. It ramps up our hunger hormones and focuses our brain on finding food. So when we've been good all day and suddenly you're face first in a bag of chips at 9 p.m., guys, that's not weakness. That's our body reacting to deprivation. Guys, and the worst part is when we give in, we feel guilty, right? Ashamed, like we failed. And that back and forth between restriction and binging creates this exhausting tug of war with food, and it's one that never really ends until you step out of the cycle. So let's just call it like it is. Dieting does not work. It leads to obsession. It leads to stress, the anxiety, and this emotional burnout. And it sets us up for this unhealthy relationship with food and this constant battle with our body. And we need to break this cycle. We need to break it today, guys, because there is a better way. You're probably thinking, Jill, how do we stop this constant cycle of restriction and obsession? And, the answer could be mindful eating. You know me, I am not a one thing fits all. Guys, we have to find out what works best, what doesn't work for you and your body. And guys, and I'm sharing all the ways. So let's talk a little bit about the science behind mindful eating, because it's about coming back to our body. It's tuning in to what we actually need, not what a diet tells us to eat. It's like a complete, entire whole vibe shift. So what does it look like when we put it into play, when we put it into practice? Okay, so I'm going to walk you through a couple core principles. So one, we need to slow down and savor, right? No more inhaling food while scrolling Instagram. Slowing down actually helps us enjoy our food and notice what we're actually eating when we're actually full. Because one of the main reasons we get stuck in the cycle of thinking about food all the time is that we rush through our meals. We eat in a hurry, we eat in the car, we eat on the run, barely noticing the taste of what we're eating or even know what we're eating, how much we're eating. But when we slow down, we allow ourselves to really enjoy our food and actually recognize when we're full. Not to mention, this can also help prevent overeating and promote better digestion. Who doesn't want that? Two, let's check in before we eat. So before we eat, ask ourselves, am I truly hungry? Or is this a stress, boredom, or out of habit? And that tiny, tiny pause can change so much. Taking a few moments to check in with our body before reaching for food can make a huge difference in how we approach eating. So when you feel hungry, guys, it's a clear sign that our body needs fuel, but it's also important to differentiate true physical hunger from emotional hunger. What about eating without distractions? Guys, this is a hard one for many of us, but it's so crucial. Put our phones down, turn off the TV, focus solely on the meal in front of you. Guys, just be with your food. When we eat while distracted, we don't give our brains a chance to register when we're full, which can lead to overeating. Plus, we miss out on the pleasure of eating when we're constantly multitasking. Number 4, notice how you feel after eating. That's a big one for me. Do you feel energized? Do you feel sluggish, bloated, satisfied? Guys, that feedback is gold. It teaches us what our body actually thrives on. Pay attention to the feedback that our body gives after eating a meal. Guys, this helps you learn which foods truly nourish you and which ones might leave you feeling sluggish or unsatisfied. And then number 5, stop ignoring your cravings. This is a big one. Honor your cravings. Oftentimes cravings are seen as bad or something to be avoided, but they're simply your body's way of communicating its needs. They're just info. Sometimes, we need energy and you might be craving something sweet, or if you're craving salt, maybe you're dehydrated or low on electrolytes. And so when you honor your cravings without judgment, you begin to rebuild this healthier relationship with food. And I tell you what, I went deeper into cravings and what they really mean in last week's episode. So if that's something that you're really struggling with, definitely go back and give that one a listen too. Okay, so this is where many of us get stuck. We want to feel free with food, but we also want to fuel our body and build strength and balance our hormones, right? And we want to feel good. So here's the truth. And I really believe this. You can absolutely have both. Food freedom and health goals don't cancel each other out. But that doesn't mean eating whatever you want whenever you want. It means eating in a way that feels good for your body. And so when we talk a little bit about food freedom and mindful eating, it is about letting go of the rigid rules, ending that constant diet mentality and learning to eat without guilt. But the nutrition goals, can you prioritize your health goals like building muscle or improving energy, balancing those hormones without falling back into restriction? Yes. And I'm going to tell you how. 1, focus on nutrient density. So instead of obsessing over calories, I want you to shift your mindset to what nourishes. So the lean protein, the healthy fats, the fiber, all the color, all the good stuff that actually fuels you. So instead of obsessing over the calories or what's good versus bad foods, right? Shift your mindset to nutrient density. Choose the foods that fuel your body and provide the vitamins and the minerals and the macronutrients it needs to function optimally. So when you intuitively eat, right, our body will naturally crave the right foods, especially if you've been nourishing it properly. So again, keep nutrient-dense options like the lean protein, the healthy fats, the colorful veggies at your fingertips. That's what meal prepping should be for, right? Making sure that that's easy access. This way, our body is more likely to crave the foods that are good for you, and that's where you find the balance. Foods that support your goals and give you the freedom to enjoy eating. And I got to tell you, protein and healthy fats, it's where it's at. Okay, so number 2, flexible eating. indulge, but do so mindfully, right? Allow for it. Guys, we have frozen custard every weekend. Every Saturday night, we take a wits walk. It's planned though, it's enjoyed. There's no guilt that you can indulge without spiraling. And indulging in a treat now and then, that's just part of a healthy, balanced lifestyle. But instead of mindlessly eating, or, I want you to practice that mindful indulgence. So when you truly savor a piece of chocolate or a favorite meal, guys, you're going to feel more satisfied and less likely to overeat. You don't have to eat perfectly every single day to meet your goals, because we all know life is happening, and sometimes you'll eat foods that aren't ideal, or you may just want to indulge with your family. But the key is flexibility. And a few indulgences don't derail your progress. If most of your meals are nutrient dense and satisfying, guys, it's not about the perfection, it's about consistency over time. One meal doesn't make or break you, but consistency over perfection will always win. Okay? Listen to your cravings. I can't say it enough. If you're craving carbs, maybe you need energy, craving chocolate, maybe it could be magnesium. Your body talks to us. We need to start listening. So the more in tune we are with our body's signals, the easier it becomes to find that sweet spot between enjoying food and meeting our health goals. So you can enjoy that piece of cake with friends and still hit your fitness or nutrition targets for the day. It's about being intentional with your choices, not restrictive. Or sometimes our body's cravings can be a sign of imbalance, right? Because if we're craving salty snacks, it could be because that we're dehydrated, or we need that burst of energy if we're craving something sweet. Listening to our cravings gives us the tools to balance, okay, with the nourishment, okay? So when you learn to trust our body, things start clicking into place, okay? That should fire you up. Okay, so here's where it gets even more interesting, okay? And honestly, this blew my mind when I first learned it. If you've ever felt like your cravings were out of control or food was living rent-free in your brain, guys, there's a high chance that inflammation is playing a role. Chronic low-grade inflammation messes with our brain's reward system. So specifically, like how we process dopamine, right? That feel-good chemical. So when inflammation dulls our dopamine response, we start chasing foods that give us a fast hit, like the sugar, the salt, the processed stuff. And get this, guys, inflammation also impacts the part of our brain that helps with self-control and decision-making. So not only are you craving more, but it's actually harder to say no to. It's like your brain is hijacked. And no, it's not just a willpower issue. And the wild part is, guys, things like stress, the lack of sleep, processed food, toxins, they all feed that inflammation. So something that I started doing, I've been working on reducing inflammation for a while in my body. And let me tell you, there is a huge, huge difference. I started focusing more on anti-inflammatory foods, lots of veggies, berries, healthy fats, the omegas. I prioritize sleep. I started paying attention to how my body felt after the meals. And slowly but surely, the cravings calmed down. The bloat started fading, guys, and I just felt more steady. But the one thing, I have to share this with you because it has really taken things up a notch. This drink that I found, it's cold. Mind-blowing, guys. It's an apple cider turmeric blend. I just mix it with water, though some people love it with milk or even stirred into their coffee for like a kind of a dessert-like vibe. But it has seriously changed the game for me. It helped with my cravings, the appetite control, bloating, that puffiness. I had some aches and pains in my arthritic pain in my right thumb, my left shoulder. I didn't even realize that inflammation was what was causing all those things. And so I loved it so much. I am sharing it with everybody. So if you're curious about the gold, guys, I've got the link for you in the show notes. You can use my code FIT and FIERCE. It's all lowercase, one word. And if you've been trying to get your body back into balance, guys, I really think you're going to love it. I can't say enough about it. Okay, so to give you more tips to make, mindful eating and food freedom work for you, it's really super easy. I can say stop thinking about food all the time, right? But how do we actually do it? It's easier said than done, right? So how do we shift our mindset and reduce that food obsession? And so let's talk a little bit about how mindful eating and bringing that into your day-to-day, and also use it to help reduce inflammation, which is a big deal for feeling good and having the energy and staying healthy, right? So I'm going to give you some quick tips. One, I want you to check in with your hunger, okay? Use the hunger scale. So before you eat, just pause and ask yourself, how hungry am I really, right? Aim for that gentle hunger around a 3 or 4, with 0 feeling like you're starving, famished, and then 10 is like that you're totally stuffed and super full, right? So eating when you're only a little hungry helps prevent the overeating and keeps your digestion smoother, which can reduce inflammation. And when you eat mindlessly or when you're starving, you tend to eat too fast or too much, which can cause stress in your body, right? Number 2, use the 2-bite rule to enjoy your treats. So if you've got a sweet tooth or a favorite fun food, just try the 2-bite rule. Just take 2 bites, really savor them. And, it just means that you're not overloading your system with excess sugar or processed stuff that might spark inflammation. Plus, enjoying these treats, right, consciously, intentionally helps reduce the guilt and stress, which causes the inflammation, right? Which also lowers that. So we don't want that stress when we eat, right? We want to lower the inflammation. And then we want to create a nourishing routine that's anti-inflammatory. Guys, we touched base on this, but we want to include the foods known for its anti-inflammatory benefits. So the protein, like the grass-fed or the wild caught, protein, like the fish, the chicken, any plant-based sources to help repair your body. We want to focus on healthy fats such as the olive oil, the avocado, the nuts, the seeds. Guys, they're great for fighting inflammation. But then we have our veggies, especially all the colorful ones like the spinach, the carrots, the bell peppers that are packed with antioxidants that calm inflammation. Okay, and so when you have a routine filled with these kinds of foods, you're feeding your body well, which can, again, ultimately help lower the inflammation over time. Okay, so number 4, don't fear hunger or fullness, but just trust your body. We overcomplicate this process. We overthink. Our body's hunger and fullness cues are actually signals to keep everything balanced, including inflammation. So eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're full, right, supports your gut health and prevents the stress on your body that chronic overeating or ignoring hunger can cause. And then we have to do this, guys. We have to drop the good and the bad food labels. Guys, stress around the food choices that can actually increase inflammation. So try to ditch the strict food rules. Instead, think about what makes you feel energized and calm. And when you stop fighting food and start enjoying it, our body and mind are going to thank us, right? Inflammation drops. And one of the biggest shifts that you'll need to make in your journey toward the food freedom is embracing a non-diet mindset. What does that mean? It's about letting go of these rigid rules and judgments about food. There's no good or bad food, only food that nourishes and food that enriches our mealtime. So start by releasing the need to label food, guys. Rather than thinking I can't have chocolate or I'm being good if I eat the salad, shift to thinking I'm choosing to eat what feels nourishing today, or I'm going to enjoy this chocolate without the guilt. Guys, when we release the labels, food stops feeling like a battle and we move from a mindset of restriction to one of empowerment, where food becomes a tool for feeling our best, not something to fear or obsess or overthink or control. Guys, and if you're like looking at, the foods, it's really simple. Food is food. So for example, for something that I keep it simple is a banana is a banana, a carrot is a carrot, right? A potato is a potato, beef is beef. That helps label my food as in like, this is food that's going to nourish my body versus something that's boxed and processed and loaded with sugar. And we're going to dive into a lot of what that means in the later in the series. But just to keep it simple when it comes to labeling good and bad and fueling our body in a right way that makes us function at an optimal level, we want to decrease that inflammation as we go, okay? And then we're going to listen to our cravings as clues, right? Our cravings can tell us what our body needs, okay? I just keep mentioning this over and over again. Get curious about your cravings, because our body might be low on energy or certain nutrients, and responding thoughtfully rather than ignoring or binging, guys, it's going to support that balance and can reduce the inflammation caused by erratic eating. And then we want to slow down, practice gratitude with our meals, because, really just taking a moment to pause with your food, it does wonders, not just for digestion, but also for reducing inflammation. So when we rush, we stress our body and we stress our digestive system. So I want us to take a moment before eating to breathe, appreciate the meal, really take notice of the flavors, the textures, all the good stuff, because it helps our body digest better and lower the inflammation signals. And guys, I don't know about you, but you can even make a meal like part of your quiet time, right? Even if it's just one meal or a snack a day, slow down and make it a mindful moment. Put away your phone, focus on your food, really connect with it. All the crazy things. I mean, it sounds crazy because no one does it in this day and age, right? But this one small practice can, ripple out, making your whole day less stressful, which is one of the best things you can do to reduce inflammation naturally. So yeah, it's all about tuning into your body, making those small mindful choices, choosing the foods that help our body feel calm and balanced. And then over time, this can seriously reduce the inflammation and help you feel more energized and peaceful around food. Okay, so I want to say all of this when I'm talking about food, I'm not talking about the junk food, guys. I'm talking about food that is whole, food that is nutritious. And I can't stress it enough, the lean proteins, the healthy fats, the colorful veggies. That is what we want to fill our day with when we eat. Okay. So I just wanted to share some real doable ways to stop thinking about food all the time and actually to start enjoying your life a little bit more when it comes to food. It's not about getting everything perfect. It's about making those small intentional shifts that feel good and make sense for you. Okay. And so when we start eating more mindfully, listening to the cravings without the guilt, letting go of all those rigid food rules, things get easier. Guys, you're going to find a way of eating that feels sustainable, not something that controls you, but something that supports you. So let's ditch the constant diet mindset, trust our body a little more, think about what truly nourishes you, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well, because food freedom doesn't mean eating everything in sight with no thought. It means figuring out what balance looks like for you and learning to fuel your body in a way that feels good. Guys, you've got this. You've got it. So if you've loved today's conversation, share it with a friend, leave a review. It helps more women find the space and feel less alone. And don't forget to join the free Fit and Fierce Sisterhood. Guys, if you haven't done so already, over 500 on-demand workouts, mindset tools, lots of goodies are waiting for you. And if you're struggling, remember, with energy, focus, gut health, inflammation, or cravings, I've got something amazing for you. I partnered with the best wellness line out there. I'm totally obsessed with it. It's been game-changing for me, and I know it can help you too. Join us in the Pivot Challenge. Message me to get started. Come hang out with me over on Instagram at fit_and_fierce. I'd love to hear how your wellness journey is going. Until next time, trust your cravings, trust your cues, and always fuel your fire. Until next time, be fit, be fierce, be unstoppable. See ya.